Hello, everyone, and welcome to Is This the Norm? I'm Heather.
And I'm Laura.
And I'm Rebecca. My topic today is a skin disorder called dermatographism, dermatographia, or dermagraphism. I'm going to call it dermagraphism. There's no consensus on what it's called in the medical community for the many medical articles I read. So, dermagraphism is when I first figured out I have this. That's what I found that it was called. So that's what I'm going to call it because that's what I've been calling it for years. So, dermagraphism. The Latin translation is roughly skin writing. So, the acquired version of this disease is not uncommon, and anywhere from 2 to 5% of people experience dermagraphism at some point in their lives. Dermagraphism has been seen in people with like diabetes, hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, menopause, pregnancy, and medication related conditions, sorry. Like, for example, some people that took the COVID-19 vaccine booster experienced dermagraphism. However, the congenital symptomatic form of dermagraphism, which I have, is quite rare. I've actually never met anyone else that has this, but I did have a coworker that had a daughter that had dermagraphism, but that's the only person that I knew outside of the internet to actually have it. So I've been living with this disease for more than 48 years, because that's how old I am. And I'm still learning about it along with the medical field in general. So there's not a whole lot known about it, and it's not life threatening. So there isn't like a huge push to figure stuff out about it. So no doctor I saw as a child in the 80s or as a young adult in the 90s and aughts was able to diagnose me accurately. I actually diagnosed myself when I was in my late 30s. There's no cure for dermagraphism, but most of us that have it can treat our symptoms pretty effectively with antihistamines. So what is it? The underlying cause, they don't know, but it's thought to be caused by overactive mast cells releasing too much histamine. So according to the Cleveland Clinic's website, which is medically reviewed, mast cells are your body's alarm system. They look out for harmful invaders like parasites. When they recognize something harmful, they send out signals that open your blood vessels, fill your tissues with fluid, and contract muscles in your GI tract. That's going to be important later. And airways. So sometimes they activate when they shouldn't, causing allergic reactions, or in the case of those with dermagraphism, they cause excessive amounts of histamine to be released. So my adopted mom took me to at least a couple of doctors when I was a child because I would break out in welts all the time for inexplicable reasons. I was also very itchy. These are the two main symptoms of dermagraphism. Red raised welts on my skin, they are called urticaria, and these result from which are usually very minimal irritants that would cause no marks on anyone that does not have dermagraphism, like a scratch that doesn't break the skin, a good bump to the face, or even just laying in grass has given me welts historically.
That's what I
These welts,
remember with you is the grass. I always felt so bad.
yeah, they're not harmful and they're not painful though, and they disappear after a short time. It depends on the person how long they last. Mine is usually about a half an hour, and they'll be pretty much gone. There might be a faint, you know, evidence of it, but 30 to 60 minutes and mine are gone. No matter how bad it was or how big they are, they're gone after that amount of time. Some people it lasts longer, like hours.
So
Like my
I have a question.
Sure.
You were saying that sometimes they are like itchy. If you like itch it, does it make it last longer? Or did you experience itchiness?
Yeah, I'll get into that because that's
Okay.
actually like the worst part of it,
Okay.
honestly. The welts themselves are not itchy. It's me itching that causes the welts. And the
Mm.
dermographism itchiness is part of that. So I mean, that's the thing is like the doctors I would go when I went to see, they would like give me the cream for the welts. Well, the welts weren't the issue. The welts were just a symptom. So, um,
Okay, let's back up. I know that I probably tracked half of that, and that's not on you. So the welts would still appear regardless of itching, or the itching would just make them worse?
the itching causes them.
Okay.
Itching causes them, like a scratch or a bump causes the welts.
Got it. So did you ever, and maybe you'll get into this, sorry, when that itch comes on and you wanna scratch it, would you like, once you kinda learned about it, to the best of your knowledge as a child, did you try to not itch them, or was it just like it's one of those things, when you're just so itchy, like, you have to do it even though you know it's not good?
You cannot not itch them. It is
Okay,
painful.
that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah,
I also, from my understanding of what you're saying too, because you had said, like, if you get a bump, it sounds like the irritant it gets on your skin, whether that's from grass or something else, and then some kind of trauma has to occur to create that welt, whether that be itching or, like, you bump into something and then it starts. Is that correct?
correct, yes,
Okay,
exactly it. Yeah,
thank you.
and, like, it's something that wouldn't like, you take a fingernail and just scratch gently on your skin, not, like, super gently, but a little bit of pressure, not enough to hurt or anything, but just to make, like, like you would be itching normally. Like, a person normally itches, it's not gonna do anything to their skin. Nothing is created. Us with
I just did it.
dermographism will automatically it won't it's not immediate, it takes some time, like, in a minute or 2, a raised skin, reddish skin welt will appear for me. It doesn't take much. Like, it's not just like if you touch me, it's not gonna happen. It has to be some kind of a little bit of an irritant, like a scratch or a bump, like a pretty good bump. Like, if I
Does
pick up a box and carry a box, I'm definitely gonna get it on my arms.
does your body, overreact to, like, bug bites or mosquito bites?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
that makes
Not
sense.
not overreact, but it makes the welt. Like, if I get a mosquito bite or a
Mm,
bug bite, it's gonna be a little more pronounced than it would be with someone else.
'kay,
Mhm.
got it.
I know it's hard to have a baseline, but because it's like you can't really know what it's like for another person other than looking at it, but I always wonder, like, are your bug bites more itchy than somebody else?
Possible. It's possible.
This
Like
or the surface area of the bite is going to be larger because of the welts,
yeah,
is how my brain
probably.
translates it.
Temporarily. I mean,
I think we're thinking way too much into this.
after, like
Can't help
after,
it.
like, a half an hour to an hour, it's gonna look like it would for anybody else,
Got
and
it.
it's gonna be like it would for anyone else. It's just the initial impact, basically, or scratch or bite.
This 30-minute window, is this, like, what you experienced personally, or is this
Yes.
what you kind of learned on the internet is kind of like what most people experience too?
No, it is just as common for it to be half an hour to an hour as it is for it to be hours for
'Kay,
different people.
I see. It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like the coworker I was telling you about, her name was Marina, and her daughter, we would talk about this, and she told me of one time when they were going dress shopping, like she was gonna go to prom or homecoming or whatever, and they went to try on dresses, and and this happens it has happened to me, like, every time I'm in a dressing room because you're taking off clothes and putting clothes on, and, there's, like, tags on them or whatever, and so you're inevitably going to get welts when you're trying stuff on, and she's like, after we tried on a few dresses and she was just welted up on her chest. She's wearing a
Mhm.
shirt where you could, like,
Aw,
see the
poor
top of her chest,
thing.
and it took her length of time for them to dissipate was hours. So, that was just another comparison to me. Like, I think I have um, a not very mine's less than some people's, I guess you could say. Like, there's a wide variety of symptoms and, um, how bad it is, like, depending on the person. So,
I'm assuming sensitivities too, like the severity of how sensitive you are to certain environmental
yeah, I think
variables.
yeah, that's probably more, um, of the same across the board just because it doesn't take much for
Right.
us.
Yeah, that's and okay, sorry, and you might have, and this might be vary from each person. So I know you said yours are like half an hour. Is it just initially itchy and you kinda, get the well, or is it itchy that whole 30 minutes?
It depends on the cause. So,
Mm,
if it's yeah, well, let me get into that a little bit because
okay,
'cause I'm gonna go into that a little bit later.
sure.
But like me, those of us that have the congenital symptomatic dermographism, are usually very self-conscious when the welts are pointed out by others, which they do because people are jerks. So,
Mhm.
don't ask people what is wrong and point something out on their body. It's rude. Like, I know it should be common sense, like most of us it is, but don't do that. Like, you know how
I
many
know I
times that
had
happened to me
I
as a
I
kid?
had a patient come in, and he had severe eczema. I mean, you could see it on his hands, and I had to take his blood pressure, and he was like, "It's okay, it's not contagious." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not scared." It's like it kinda hurt my heart. I'm like, "He clearly has had severe reactions from people just from seeing it." Poor guy.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awful.
Mhm.
people would all the time, "Oh my god, what's wrong?"
See, I would never say that. I
Yeah,
would be more like
so
take you to the
distasteful.
side and be like, "Are you okay?" If I didn't know you had it, I would
But
take
don't
you
ask that
aside.
either, because that's just as bad, honestly.
What
Just
if I'm
don't
worried
ask
about
about
you
it.
as my friend, Rebecca?
Well,
Well,
yeah, I
that's
mean
different. You have a relationship, but to a
Yeah.
stranger, you don't need to be
Oh,
that's
asking
no.
that,
exactly it.
especially if you're not
Oh,
even gonna be touching them, like, it's
oh,
none of your
no.
business, but, like, if you're in a situation where you have to touch them, like, I could see that fear being there. If you
Right.
just don't know, you don't know, but to just, like, point it out and be like, "Ugh,
Yeah,
what is
no,
that?"
I would never
To
do that
somebody
to
you're not
somebody
even
I
close
don't
with.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
if it
I
would
I
be a
I
friend,
I know you well enough, Heather, you would never do something like what Rebecca is explaining here,
that's
for
crazy
sure.
that people have done that to you, Rebecca. I would
Yeah.
never. I don't know.
Yeah, none of us and, honestly, I was probably more sensitive before I knew what it was. Like, now I'm like, "Well, I have dermagraphism. It's skin writing."
Right.
It's kinda cool, like, "Look, I can write my name on my arm." But when before I
Husband,
knew what
write
it
his name on your
was
arm. I was just gonna say that, it was delayed.
no. So, like, I'm part of a Facebook group for those of us with dermagraphism, and I see a lot of people, like, drawing cool patterns on their skin and
Oh,
posting the
wow.
pictures. Yeah. So, I'm not as creative as them, so I've never done this, but I feel like it's their way of saying, "Hey, I'm different and I don't care." And
Well,
I love
doesn't
that.
your daughter I don't wanna say her name without her permission, but isn't she have an artistic side?
Ira?
Yeah.
Not really.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because you could have somebody that's artistic draw, and then you can be the the canvas,
Well, it's
Rebecca. You
so
can you can't draw.
temporary, like, I don't want somebody to, like, spend a lot of time on it and then it just goes away. So,
Have to be a quick artist.
yeah. Hurry up, and we'll have to take a picture because it's
We
gonna
could
go
start a
away.
new trend, dermagraphism art. That is cool.
It's that's what I'm saying, like, on the Facebook page I'm on, they do it all the time, like, there's cool, like they do, like, mazes and all kinds of crazy
They need to
stuff,
do a
and
constellation. We need to have a gallery for this. I think this is
yeah,
we're
somebody's
coming onto
probably done
something
it.
here. Interesting.
Yeah, so you can draw patterns on your skin because the wheals, that's what the WHEALS, that's the medical term for the welts.
Oh,
But we've always called it welts for me, so that's,
right.
I still call it that. They form in the shape of the external force. So, if I'm like laying in the grass, I'll get up and there's like grass pattern on my leg
Hey, take
or
pictures of that. Put it on your
it,
Facebook next time.
oh, people have. Yeah, trust me. So yeah, I can literally write a letter or a word with my fingernail, not exerting very much pressure, and a welt will form on my skin in that shape. So, and I don't
FYI,
have to.
Rebecca, because I do the try to do the PR for our, podcast here, I want you to figure out something that you're gonna draw on yourself and send me that picture so that I can when I do the Instagram and Facebook, we have an actual picture of your skin.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
that's a
do
great
it.
idea.
I'll do. Is this the norm? Because I'm not creative, but
Oh,
I could do
that's
that.
Oh, I
awesome.
love it.
Yes.
Yes.
Woo
Perfect.
Perfect, yeah, love it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry, move on.
So the ugly welts that occur with virtually any irritant to my skin, which they call urticaria, they're not the worst symptom. The worst thing about having dermagraphism is actually the itching fits. So, unfortunately for me, this has gotten progressively worse as I get
Oh,
older. It begins with a painful stinging of the skin that requires me to itch it. I have tried to ignore it. It doesn't go. Like if you have an itch, you can like ignore it, ignore it, ignore it until it goes away. It doesn't go away. So you have to itching it is the only way to get rid of that sticking. So every few seconds, it will itch again until that section of my body is covered in my scratches and therefore the welts. Every few minutes, it will spread to the surrounding skin and end up being both legs, both arms, or some other, like my whole trunk, like the front or my whole back. if I don't take an antihistamine immediately when the itching starts, I will end up with most of my body covered in welts, and usually I scratch so hard that I broke the skin. So for this reason, I don't go anywhere anymore without both day and nighttime allergy
I
medication.
had no idea it was that bad, like Heather
Yeah, me
said. I
too.
remember the grass and seeing, like it literally looks like the exact same grass blade, like, perfect pattern welts on you, but I didn't
Mhm.
realize that it was that bad. You never complained that much that I was aware
Mm-mm.
of.
It because
Dang.
I honestly don't remember having the itching fits like I do now. Like, I
'Cause we're
think I
getting old.
did. Yeah. You know
Menopause,
how everything
perimenopause.
and you know what, Heather? People actually develop this during, premenopause and or menopause.
Not to mine
Like,
is
not
nothing like yours, but I get hives. I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and it's like certain foods sometimes do it.
Yep.
Or when I'm stressed in trial, holy hell, I'll get these hives, and I have to put
Yeah.
like, luckily, I can take Zyrtec. I was gonna ask you that because Zyrtec, which is really good for regular allergies, I know sometimes works for skin conditions, and it's long acting, and so I've been taking that for another about a year, and those hives that I get when I'm stressed or hormone fluctuations has greatly decreased, but I don't know if that would even work for you.
Yeah, no, it does. That's like, if it happens during the day, I take Zyrtec, and if it
Mhm.
happens basically every evening before I go to bed, I take a little kid's Benadryl, and that because if I don't do that, I will inevitably have an itchy fit while I'm trying to go to sleep. Like, it
Careful.
happens almost every night, started happening, so I just take a Benadryl, like, before bed because it makes you sleepy anyway, so, I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Mine's
probably
not
not.
even a quarter as bad as yours, and it drives me crazy if I have, welts or itching at night.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're the 2 to 5% that get it for whatever reason. Yours is premenopause. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not uncommon. Like, I remember telling one of my a different coworker about this. I'm like, "Yeah, I have dermagraphism. It's really rare." And they're like, "I just looked it up. It's like 2 to 5% of the people have this." Like, it's not the same. It's that's the developed form and it's short-lived. Like, you will not have that forever. It will go away eventually.
I hope so.
Mine will never go away.
Just gets worse as you get older, that's always nice.
I don't that's not have not read that, that's just my experience, and that's
Right.
just the itching fit, like, the urticaria, the welts, that's the same. It's been the same my
Mm.
whole life, nothing has changed about that, but the itching fits, oh, it's horrible. I did find a few interesting things, so this is gonna probably be a short one, but I have 2 things that I wanted to bring up before we wrap up. The first thing is they've done recent studies with people that have symptomatic dermographism. Now this is your version, Heather, and my version, like the acquired and the congenital version. They did this study where they were comparing the gut microbiota of patients with dermographism
Knew you were
to
gonna go there. I knew it.
other patients that, didn't have it, and they found that and it wasn't they found a definite connection between the beneficial bacteria being not as much and the pathogenic bacteria being more for
Mm.
those with symptomatic dermographism. So basically, our gut microbiota is imbalanced. So
Do we need to
as
eat more
I'm
yogurt? Is that what's going on?
I
Yeah,
think it's
that was
probably
gonna be my question. Do they recommend, like, specific probiotics for people with this?
no, because this is just like one random study. Like I said, the medical field
Mm,
isn't like looking into this because
yeah,
we're not
that
it's not life threatening, you know,
Right.
and it doesn't really affect honestly, it doesn't really affect my life like very much. Like it
well,
probably
you have to
did.
take Adderall every night and you or otherwise you can't go to sleep. That's annoying.
It's more annoying than anything else. That's what it is. You know what I
True,
mean?
true.
I've learned to manage it. So, and I think
Yeah.
other people have like, and some people have it really like a lot worse than I do. Like some people are itchy all day long every day. So at least I don't have that. I mean, I can't imagine I can't imagine just being itchy all the time. It's bad enough just randomly when I get it. But I just, was doing more research on this, preparing for this podcast. And so I came across this study about gut bacteria. So I'm going to try to, um, they have like fruit and vegetable pills. I'm going to like try that and see if that helps just because it's a kind of a natural way to try to get your gut
We might
in,
have to
in
do a
balance.
follow-up podcast on your remedies regarding this condition and what it looks like, and maybe, like, more coming up with an episode for you, Rebecca, regarding but gut bacteria and what it can do for you in certain circumstances or diseases, so that'd be wonderful.
Me and Laura have talked about this before, but the mind-body connection, like, we know it's there, and I feel like our medical, um, American medical industry, probably doesn't delve into natural things as much as they should because we just develop drugs and we just
Exactly.
feed drugs.
I
But I'm
know. I agree.
sure I'm sure I don't know, I'm gonna try different things. I'm gonna try the fruits and vegetables first and see if that happens, if that helps, and then if that doesn't, I'll go into, like, maybe some probiotics to
Mhm.
as the second thing, but I'm gonna try a couple different things and see if it helps.
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely mind and body, because I was just telling you is since my hormone fluctuations, which one week I'll feel like a normal person, and the next week I'm like, "What is going on?" I get
Yeah.
sweaty and irritable and forgetful, and then the next week I'm fine. I don't know. But,
Mhm.
um, but my mind, yeah, like, my mind is what sometimes triggers those stress responses of whether that's welts or insomnia or
Right.
sweating at night. So, like, trying to get my mind right, which has been I do it in probably the wrong way, is I add stuff to my schedule because I feel like it's a distraction, and then I don't sit there and ruminate on things. Maybe I'm crazy, but anyhow, I think that's really good, and then bringing up something totally what we've already talked about, but Eastern medicine, when I was talking about the foot binding, that's a big thing in that book I read, and I thought they still use that a lot. There's, like, a woman, I think, in Spokane that does, like, what's it called? What do they put the needles in you? I'm totally see, here's my brain not
Acupuncture?
working. Thank you.
Acupuncture.
Yeah, and she studies those kinds of things like herbs and stuff, and I thought, "Maybe I should look into that too," but who knows?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm 100% pro, like, Western medicine, right? Like, I'm a dental hygienist, I have bachelor of science, I've studied it, 100%. But when I was having really bad anxiety, I was taking, Western medicine to remedy it and treat it, and it just, like, exacerbated it and made it worse. And then I got a Dutch test and had my hormones tested and realized, like, my estrogen was through the roof, and so I just completely stopped all Western medicine and started taking like B complex and like hormone balance and had true success. So I think that truly, in my personal opinion, we do need both. We need Western medicine for certain things and we need naturopathic medicine, and they need to come together and work together because there's a gap there. And I think that's what's killing us.
Yeah.
Right, like,
I
they're
100%
fighting
agree
each
with
other.
that.
I don't think naturopath is fighting Western medicine, but I feel like Western medicine is fighting naturopaths, at
Yeah.
least what I've
Exactly.
experienced.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why there's that gap there for sure.
There's beneficial things with both of them. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, we obviously, need Western medicine. Like, if you have appendicitis, you have to get that out.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't you
you can't take a
can't
pill or
you
herb for
can't eat
that.
more vegetables and cure that, you know? So,
100%. Yeah, I think that's the problem is that you have these 2 extremes of the bell curve, and I'm like, "No, you gotta meet in the middle."
yeah, agreed. Yep.
It's hard because the people who are like, the doctors and nurses are very much like that's what they're educated in, and that's what they know, and that's what they're comfortable with, and
Right.
then the naturopaths are afraid of Western medicine, and this is what they know and what they trust, and it's really hard to get them to come together.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
I know.
the the last thing that I wanted to talk about was it's just this is just like a random I thought it was pretty interesting case of dermagraphism. So, this was in a Spanish journal, but it was oh my gosh, what am I can't think of it. Interpreted. What do you? It was translated into English, So this happened like somewhere in South America, but a 42-year-old male, he went to his doctor because he was getting welts on his face and hands when he went outdoors in cold weather, touched cold things, or even when he was exposed to cold water. He was also experiencing pharyngeal itching when he drank cold beverages. That means
Psst.
itchy throat.
Yeah, that
Yeah, that's
sucks.
terrible.
Yeah. So this specific form of dermagraphism is called cold urticaria. He was prescribed an antihistamine, which helped his symptoms to be less severe and shorter duration, but he basically had to live with it for the rest of his life. Can you imagine anything cold? Like
And he's in South America, and it was still too cold? That's crazy.
well, he must have been somewhere
In
that,
the mountains, yeah, I mean, we've
yeah, who
gone and there's
knows?
lots of mountain areas, so I'm like, "Get down by the ocean where it's warm."
Right. Yeah, I will say that after researching this and reading about other people's experiences and, my Facebook thing, I had seen it before. I'm like, mine is not as bad as it could be. So it's just another example of you think you have it so bad, but other people have it worse.
It's very
It's,
noble of you, because I don't feel like anybody should have to deal with you know, discomfort and having to take medicine. I mean, that's never I mean, I don't like it. I look at my handful of I mean, most of mine are herbs, but that handful of pills I have to take, and I'm like, "God, I don't wanna do this." Like, some nights I just don't wanna take it, but if I don't take my herbs, I feel like, not so great for the, next day or during the night because it helps me get through the night.
Or you lay down in bed and you're like, "I'm so tired," and you lay down and you're like, "I forgot to take my vitamins. I have to get back
Yes.
up."
I know,
Oh,
sucks.
I
I hate
hate
it.
getting old.
yeah, that's why technically I could probably take Zyrtec every morning, like people with allergies, but I don't want to take another extra pill. So that's
Mhm.
my dilemma too. Same thing.
Yeah, I have to because I actually have I have all year allergies, and I have what I never grew out of being a snot-nosed kid because my nose just no matter how much I take of Zyrtec or, Flonase, it's like I still have a runny nose.
And do the math, adding up all of those. I mean, allergy medicine is not cheap, and for
No.
me personally, I can't use the generic for whatever reason, I don't know. I have to use, like, for me, it's Allegra, name brand Allegra,
Well, just
otherwise
because of
it
the
doesn't help.
fillers, right,
Yeah,
and
exactly, and I mean, it's not cheap. Why
no.
is allergy medicine so expensive, Heather? What the heck?
I don't know, I didn't make it. Talk to
What's
the
special in
pharmaceutical
there?
company.
Well, you're the
They didn't
nurse, you
make
know what all this stuff. You're supposed
they're
to.
always I don't even get me into my political feelings about pharmaceuticals and them ripping us off, and it's just well, we live in a capitalistic society, so get what you get.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to make money even on sick people, period.
Yep, we are a commodity.
Nope. All right. That's all I have. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We will see
Yeah, it
you
was
next
very
time
interesting.
on Is This the
Yeah.
Norm? Bye bye.
Bye.